Welcome! I am Jean Carroll with the Oak Brook Public Library, and today we are going to do a very simple but yet very pretty craft. This is a bouquet of roses made from a recycled book. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. In your kit, you will have a recycled book, and you will have these long wire gauges for your stems. At home, you will need scissors and glue. If you have a hot glue gun, that would be great. Otherwise, you can use the stick or the liquid glue. And I would recommend finding something that is thin and hard. It can be, I have an Allen wrench. You can use a chopstick, you can use a knitting needle, anything of this sort that is small and thin to curl the edges of the pages. This is all we need to get started. So let's get started. The first thing you'll need is to cut 3 pages from your book in an equal square. And it can be 3 inches or 4 inches, but it has to be an even square. So, the first thing we are going to do with the first square is fold it in a triangle. Three times. That was my first fold. This will be my second fold. And this will be my third fold. Okay. So 3 folds with your first square. Then I'm going to take my scissors with the closed point facing down. I'm going to cut a cone shape so that it looks like an ice cream cone. Okay. And I'm going to do that with my next square. I'm going to fold it into a triangle, a second triangle, and a third triangle. Each square I'm going to fold 3 times. I'm going to make sure my closed end is facing down. I'll use the other piece as my template, and I'm going to cut another cone. Okay, so now I have 2, and I will do the same thing with my third. My first triangle, my second triangle, and my third triangle. With my inside edge down, I'll use my other piece as a template, and I will cut my little ice cream cone. Now, the pages that you are cutting will determine the size of your finished flower. So if you have a very small page, you'll have a small flower, and if you cut your pages a little bit bigger, so you can use pages from an older book that are yellowed to give it a vintage look, and this is obviously a bigger print. And you can have a single rose, or you can create a bouquet, but there's lots of different ways to create this. Okay, so back to my 3 ice cream cones. I'm going to line them up, and at that closed point that's facing down, I'm just going to cut the edge off. I'm just going to snip just a tiny point there. And then I'm going to open my petals. So this is what it should look like. You have a little hole in the middle. Now I have 3 petals. Our next step will be to cut the petals out. So from the first petal, I'm going to clip just 1. I have 1 petal. From my second petal, my second flower, I'm going to cut 2 petals. So now I have varying sizes here. And then from my third flower, I'm going to cut 3 petals out. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have these varying sizes. I'm going to put my 1 single piece off to the side. I'm going to start with the largest piece where I only cut 1 petal out. And now this is where we're going to use our glue. And again, if you have a hot glue gun at home, you can use that. Since I'm working here and I want it to dry quickly, I'm going to use my glue stick. And I'm just going to glue on the edge of 1 petal. And I'm going to fold the petal over and layer it like this so it forms a bit of a bowl. Then I will take the next size. We're just going to do 1 petal. I'm going to fold it over like so. And you'll notice I have a hole in the bottom of the flower. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to work my way down from largest to smallest. And continue to glue the pages together. As you can see, I'm starting to stack them, but I do have to do another step after I'm done gluing. I have a duplicate double petal that I'm going to put to the side. I'm not going to use that one. And here's my single petal. Okay, so now that we are done gluing our petals together to form a bowl with a hole in the bottom, I'm going to take the instrument and start curling the pages, the edges of the roses back. So I'm just going to roll it, the edges. See, very simple. Doesn't have to be perfect. And after you create your first rose, you can get creative and do whatever you'd like. You can color the edges, maybe with a red marker to give it a little bit of color. You can put a little glue in here and put some glitter in here if you're a glitter person, which I am not. Okay, see, I've curled the edges back, and I'm going to do that with all of my, just rolling it back and forth, just the tops, so they curl back. And you'll have an entire library book full of pages. So if the first one doesn't turn out like you thought it would, You can just keep playing with it until you get the size you like. Part of the fun. Trust me, if I can do this, you can too. Okay. Now I have my 2 petals here. Gets a little tricky because it's a tight fit, but it's okay if it rips a little bit. And my glue is not completely dry, so. All right. And then the single piece, I did not glue or fold. I'm going to take it and just curl it the best I can as a single piece. See, I'm just twisting the one page around. And then it holds this curl. Okay, so now we have all these varying pieces. This is where you'll want to put your glue stick away, and the best option is to use liquid glue. And I'm going to start stacking the pieces as I was doing before with glue in the inside, like so. And I'll take my next biggest piece and insert it so the holes are lined up on the bottom. You can just move it around until you get it folded the way you like. Just make sure there's the hole at the bottom. And then I'm going to add some more glue to my next petal. Put my next piece in here. Shift it around until you get your petals the way you like them. I'm going to add some more glue into this guy. This is all going to dry, so I'm not too worried about the glue making a mess. And then put my little piece in the center. And this is really all there is to it. And again, you can just move the flower petals before the glue sets. But we are almost finished. The last thing we'll do is take our stem. We provided you with some 18 gauge wire. You can use anything. We also have here some pipe cleaner that I was using earlier. However, with the larger roses, it's a little heavy. So we found that this works best. I like to fold the very end just so it's going to catch when I put it into my flower. Just give it a little bit of a fold here. We're going to take our long piece, the other end, and feed it in through the center of our rose, through the holes, like so. And this little piece is going to catch it in the center. And if you like, you can put some glue in the center to make sure it stays there. And that is everything you need to make your own rose. Find yourself a piece at home that you like, and you can just put it in, or you can bend the bottom to make it shorter. I'm going to add my other flower. my third one in. So have fun. Again, like I was saying, you can color the edges, you can spray paint them, you can leave them as is. But I really hope you enjoyed this project, and we'd love to see what you've all created. So feel free to share on our social media. So thank you so much for joining us for this virtual program. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and feel free to share your finished product on social media. We'd love to see it. Until next time, bye.